Welcome back to Build a NeuroNinja. So we're looking at how we deal with the change precipice and manage our mind as we're heading back to school and college. And this is part of the mind management pack. And remember that idea of a change precipice and the fact that your brain's worry system is going to kick off whenever there's uncertainty and change. We need to be prepared for that. We need to be ready for the cognitive distortions and don't go into battle with our brain. Notice those cognitive distortions and land them. And notice where we are in our nervous system. Remember, we've got this response nervous system, which calms us down, the parasympathetic nervous system. More on that in a minute. And the react nervous system, which is good to getting us ready and prepared, but if we spend too much time in that place, we can be ruminating and become anxious. So the react nervous system, we're going to need that to prepare and plan for tomorrow back in school. And we can use that to help us get active and focused and organise ourselves. But we need to spend quite a bit of that last day of the holiday in our response nervous system. In fact, when you go back to school, you need to be dealing and working in your respond nervous system for about half of a day. 12 hours of a 24-hour period needs to be in the response nervous system. That's what we bang on so much about the 12 rocks of well-being. So how can you manage this churn, crossing the change precipice and stepping in to the new term in a positive way? Well, plan early in the day, the last day of the holiday, or a few days before that, in order to make sure that you've managed and prepared well. Plan what needs to happen to make day one go well. So make your lunch, prepare your bag, make sure that all the homework is dealt with and up to date. If you don't do those things, you will moan and you will worry and you'll be in a low mood and you'll ruminate and you'll suffer. And we don't want you to suffer. Remember that you're not going to want to plan. You don't want to prepare. You want to deny the fact that the holidays are ending. Just get on and do it. It will take far less time than the moaning that you'll do if you don't actually get into a place of preparing. And the annoyance of preparing is tiny in comparison with the massive stress if you arrive that first day back not prepared. Remember that. And also, alongside that plan for preparing for tomorrow, plan a last huzzah for today. Make it so engaging that you enjoy yourself thoroughly and forget about the worries. So, contentment happens in a human brain when we're engaged mentally in what we're doing right now. That's really important. We allow troubling thoughts and emotions to arise and we witness them and manage them, and we treat well-being as a skill. We want to think less about being happy all the time. That's difficult in a brain, and more about contentment. The key to contentment is doing what I'm doing right now, thinking about the thing that I'm doing right now, not allowing our mind to wander off. And in order to do that, in order to be and do, we need to make sure that we prepare for the requirements of that busy beginning of term day. And we need to not go into battle with the negative thoughts when they come. We need to allow the troubling thoughts to come, expect those cognitive distortions and land them using that what framework. And we need to treat well-being as a skill. We need to plan that last day of the holidays so we're prepared for tomorrow, and then we get on with the good, joyful experience of well-being experiences and positive experiences. Alongside that, and this is something to roll out over the next few days and weeks, practice strengthening your parasympathetic nervous system. It is the calm down system, and you can strengthen it by engaging in simple practices like deep meditative breathing. And if you're finding yourself getting stressed about tomorrow, practice deep breathing. Breathe out on 4, hold for 4, breathe in on 4, breathe out on 4, hold for 4, breathe in for 4. That will calm you down. The parasympathetic nervous system takes information from the breathing system, and when you're breathing slowly, you're in a much calmer mental space. You're literally in your parasympathetic nervous system. Try a grounding exercise if you're getting a little bit shallow breathing and feeling a bit panicky. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. That returns you into your parasympathetic nervous system. Mindfulness and meditation does the same. Here's a list of a few things that you can do to turn on your vagus nerve, a key part of your parasympathetic nervous system. We talked about square breathing. We've mentioned the importance of things like the 12 rocks of well-being. Make sure that you get plenty of sleep. Make sure that you eat decent balanced meals. Make sure you get exercise. These activities grow brain cells in your hippocampus. Your hippocampus is all about regulation and preparation and resilience. If you don't do these things, you won't grow those neurons, and therefore you'll be less able to respond flexibly to what's coming. Laugh. Have a good laugh. Watch something that makes you smile. Social connections turn on the parasympathetic nervous system. Doing your 12 rocks does the same. Managing your worries, which we talked about in the previous video. Regular exercise and listening to calming music. Don't forget, the key NeuroNinja skill is planning your well-being. Well-being is a skill. 50% of how we feel right now is down to what we've done in the previous 24 hours. Do your rocks every day. Well-being is a skill. We need to avoid that frazzled space. Frazzlement not only is unpleasant and causes suffering, it's actually physically damaging the brain. And as parents, our job is absolutely to protect our children from harm. But sometimes we can get confused about the difference between harm and difficulty, and we can just want them not to have a tricky time. But actually, in the 21st century, we do get those two muddled up. I've certainly got those muddled up during the journey of my kids as they've grown up. Difficulty is necessary for growth. It improves and develops us, and we need to allow our children to experience difficulty in order to grow. So, are you ready for the beginning of term? I know that it's not as great as the holidays, but there are lots of great things in school. There's learning, there's all your friends, there's all those exciting extracurricular activities. What school does is it helps your brain grow and change and develop. And a brain that grows and changes and develops pushes the boundaries back of what is possible. So, try to plan the last few days to prepare properly so you can then get on with planning your well-being, planning a last huzzah that gets you thoroughly engaged, plan your well-being every day, and plan your relaxation. Treat relaxation exercises a bit like a trip to the gym. Build your calm. Practice the processes of deep breathing, of meditation, of engaging in grounding activities. Yoga's fantastic for calming you down.